Good afternoon, traders. Good morning to some of you. Welcome to our webinar. This is the regular time I do my New York update for my traders. So I've actually opened it today to welcome everybody. It would be a little more than the normal update I'll do. The normal update I do will take about 45 minutes. Today we're going to spend about an hour because we'll elaborate a little more on some of these trades. Also, I'll be looking at more of the higher time frame because I'm going to try to identify trades for the coming week. Right? Not trades that will happen tomorrow or the next day, but trades that could happen within the coming week. Right? What we're going to do is I'll try to go through the chart pretty fast. If you have questions, please keep your questions to the end because I wouldn't be able to read the chat. Right? And I will leave time for questions and I'll take all the questions. Don't worry. Right? So let's go. I want to start always, as we always do. We start with the dollar index. Dollar index, if you remember, we've been forecasting this move to the downside, and it did happen, the break of that structure. We're getting a pretty sharp pullback. So we got to be careful. Either this is a very sharp corrective move to the upside to make a bigger correction in here before they go one down. And I think there is one more down. I'll explain to you why very fast, why I think this is in a very big correction, right? So what we were looking for was a 1, 2, 3 here, but this was just one part of the correction as an A wave. You got a 1, 2, 3 up for a B wave, and then you get a very sharp C wave here. If you notice this correction, it was pretty sharp, right? So let me erase that. And this piece, this first leg up, that was pretty sharp as the A wave. You got a B and you got a C. We're making a sharp move up here after a 1, 2, 3. So I would not jump into saying that we are already going up in the upside, right? And only the break of this top will tell me that we are actually in the new impulse to the upside. So I'm still looking at this as a corrective structures. And if any one of you knows anything about corrective structures, they're very complex. They're not as simple as some traders would like it to be. Right? They're complex. That is why we do 2 update daily in the charts for my traders. So that while we're looking for a structure, a sell or a buy, within the day that could change. It doesn't mean the structure will not happen. They did break, but they didn't go to where our target was, and the structure starts to change. In that case, we update it, and we actually relook at those charts. Now, if I don't post everything in TradingView, does not mean we don't do it. Right? So we have a lot of trolls like to come on there and try to advise me and tell me what to do, and some of them are trying to even teach me, especially on Elliott waves and wave structure. Some of them are trying to sell their own things in the chart, which is a little, it's a little icky. I should say it's a little amoral, if I can say that. It's not very nice, but I mean, people are different, so we just let them to go, right? So what I'm looking at is that this is probably going to make an A wave, and we will see more of a B wave structure, maybe a C wave before we go down for one sharp move. Retest this low. We're always anticipating a retest of the low for a C wave, an A, a B, and a C. Now, C waves don't always have to retest the low. So if any one of you knows anything about Elliott wave, and so a lot of you do know, you don't have to retest the low, but we will always look for them to retest the low. So on a 4-hour structure, we're going up, but we are still within this downtrend. We've got a very sharp impulse down, a correction, and another impulse down. So I'm looking at this as an A wave impulse for now. We would watch it only if it breaks this. We will be looking for buy setups. Short-term buy setups was here this morning if you wanted to. That's short-term, which means if you're going to get more buys, and this is the basic thing that I always mention in all my webinars, you will have to wait for it to correct. Do not jump in the moving candles. Leave that for the idiots who have no idea what they're doing. Wait for this correction and that call for patience, and then you're going to get that trade up. If it is going to continue to go up, what traders like to do is they like to jump in at the top. Oh man, this thing is moving and I'll lose it. And then it starts to reverse. It comes down here. It starts to go up back. They're pretty much happy. Oh, it's going my way. And then it does that. Because that is what we were anticipating it to do. So on the euro, you can see a very similar structure in the daily. We are in a big sideways move, and I've been forecasting this move for like ever. When it was coming down here, you would hear me say, this is not enough of a consolidation. This consolidation, time-wise, has to go much more. And that is why we were forecasting this move to the upside, and we are getting that move to the upside. So we're anticipating more of that move to the upside. This one was a buy. That was a development that is going to go up. This one is a development that this structure is going to stop somewhere here and go up. All of these are forecasting a three-wave pattern. I've done many of those. A 1, 2, 3-wave pattern. Now, that doesn't mean that it will develop that way. Remember, when you make a forecast, you're making a forecast based on a possible structure that exists, right? It's like you're drawing a car. You would probably draw a car with 4 wheels and, let it look like a car that exists. But that doesn't mean that if you're going to make it, it's going to turn out to be exactly that way. So when we're drawing a forecast, we're looking for a possible ABC correction. That doesn't mean you will get the ABC correction. You can get an ABCDE. You could get a WXYZ. You could get numerous amounts of variance of how that forecast will go. So please, when I post a chart like that, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, save yourself the energy, right? Don't troll the charts. I really, it's really annoying. So here's what we're looking for. I posed that we're looking for this to go up. Now, if you have a different view, you're welcome to post it. Just post it once and leave it for all to see. This coming down does not mean we're not looking for the upside. We're still looking for the upside. We saw that little coming down there. We saw this possibility of it to come, but I don't have a sell set up for this structure. I'm not looking for a sell. I would start looking for a sell when it breaks the structure, consolidate under here, and then my trade will trigger. That's my selling trade. So when I post a chart like this, it doesn't mean it's not going to go down some more. All of you remember the euro, the previous euro never-ending ending diagonal that made me 42,000? It was a similar structure like this. And I said, we're looking for the upside only. The same thing I will say here. I'm looking for the upside only. We saw this. I told my traders, if you want to take the risk of selling it, it's a small trade. I'm not interested in it. I'm looking for them to break this structure. Now, if they do come and they break out of this structure, which is this end channel looking structure, if they break out of it, they're going to hit here. And if they hit this, we will be looking for a bounce. Now, there may be a situation where they break this. If they do break that structure, that changes my view on the euro. It means this 3-wave up, 1, 2, 3, was all the correction to the upside. And we are actually going to be making deeper correction to the downside. So that means any correction in here, I would be selling. But that didn't happen. And that I still think that the view is to the upside. So we will be looking for an opportunity now for it to bounce off an area in here, somewhere in here, and look for that trade to the upside. Now, this consolidation may get more complex like this one. This one turned out to be very complex. So when it starts to go up, if it goes up, as it comes to somewhere in here, we'll be looking for a possibility for a C wave. Not that it will happen, but we will be careful, which means we'll be moving our stop to break even. We'll be taking some profit, and then we'll be looking for that trade to go up. So the direction of the euro as of today in an uptrend is to buy it with the direction of the trend to the upside. Simple. That's how simple it is. An impulse, a correction, and an impulse. An impulse, a correction, an impulse. If you get a correction, you're looking for another impulse. It is not complex. It has nothing to do with any voodoo job that some people are trying to sell. It is simple. And if you look at the charts day in, day out, this is what you will see. So am I interested in the short trade to the downside? No. Because it's not the best trade. But, some people jump in, they sell, they make some sense, and then they jump all over the place believing that they're a winner. Great for you. Honestly, I really don't care. It doesn't bother me. You can trade in a 1 minute if you want. Traders do that. They trade on the 1 minute chart, and that will be one hell of a move if you're in a 5 minute chart. That's going to be a huge move if you're trading on a 5 minute chart. That's okay, but I don't trade that way, and I don't post charts out for 5 minute, 15 minute trades. Rarely. If I see a really good 15-minute setup, then I would trade. So this was a short trade down. What we were not sure was whether it's going to go, so I'm not interested in it. Now we are seeing that it's breaking out, so we'll come back, and I'll be interested in a trade from around this area if they bounce to the upside. Right? So what would a bounce be for me? Remember my very basic strategy: an impulse up, a correction down, and then I'll be looking for that impulse up. That's it. Always remember, that's a very simple formula to remember. right? Pong was a little surprise for me because I thought Pong was going to come back higher to the trend line. I thought this was going to make a move to the trend line and then go down. And actually, they went down much deeper than we thought. They started to make a move down. This was an impulse. They made this correction. They made another impulse. They made a correction. And by the way, I lost this trade. I had a ton of pips on this trade, and I lost it over the weekend. So I'll tell you what is the trade we took. We had this trend line here. Amazing thing trading, right? Sometimes you just have to be prepared for the unexpected. So we had this, and we bought this break for this trade to the upside. I thought it was going to hit the trend line with a possibility to bounce and a possibility for one more down, right? So we were up in profit, lots of profit. The best thing we should have done was move our trade to break even. It's a Friday afternoon. I walk away from the charts a little too early. Came back, saw this, did not put it to break even, walk away, kept my stop here, only to have it taken out this morning. Part of trading, nothing you can do about that, right? We should have followed my rule and put it to break even, but it's Friday afternoon and things happen. I also lost on the British pound Oz. We will come to that, right? So what we're looking for now is we've got a 5-wave structure in the building here. 1, 2, 3. There is still building, but this could still continue to go for a while, right? Now that we have broken the bottom of the daily structure, it means we're continuing on this big daily trend line. The only thing, the trend line will be more steep now. It's going to be a much steeper trend line. Eric, I'll be honest to you. I don't have to prove anything to anybody. I'm enjoying what I'm doing. I'm having fun, and I'm doing it my way of. So it's when I'm telling you guys these things, I'm not telling you so that to prove anything. But just to tell you, that happens in trading. Right? And sometimes, most of the times we manage, if we're normal trading day, we manage and we are up 60, sometimes up to 100 pips. You move your stop to break even. So you get break even trades in 100 pips. That's my style of trading, right? I trade differently. The only thing I thought this was going to break and come to the top. Didn't happen, no problem. So what we're doing, we're continuing this trend. And then we went to the weekly today because we were anticipating this weekly trend to the downside, right? Let me just bring it up to you. We were anticipating a break of this low. What I thought they were going to do, I thought they were going to bring it back to the trend line and then to go for that one, right? A deeper correction, then go. And they didn't do that. They actually made a very shallow correction. So if they're going to come down here all the way to this low, that's a lot of pips. I'm on the weekly charts, don't forget that. Which means if you measure this, come on, give me this one. If you measure to break that low, it's already about 6,000, probably 600, I think, right? That should be 600 or 6,000 pips. It's a lot of pips to the downside, right? I think so. What we're going to do, and we're expecting them to break that low. So we go back in the daily, we go back in the 4-hour, and any 4-hour pullback within this trend line, right? Within this trend here now going down. Any 4-hour, 1-hour pullback in here, you need one of those pullback. Don't jump in the trade. We will sell. So it's easy. You will see me posting trades out now for sell opportunities only after a pullback. I'm not interested in jumping in these candles right now because you jump in and that is where it's going to reverse the new. So two things are going to happen. They're going to totally reverse this pretty fast and go back to the bigger trend line, or they're going to go sideways and we will get one more trade down sideways and we'll get one more trade down. Pretty simple. We're looking for this. Right? So if this makes the correction, we're going to get a good sell setup. Can you guys keep the chatting for afterwards? Break even would help nothing as it would have. Probably you're right. Yes, if I had a stop there, they probably wouldn't have respected the stop either. That's a good thing. But I didn't have a stop, so I wouldn't know. Somebody's sound is not working. Can somebody help Mike get sound? The webinars are free, viewer 174. For even my members' webinars are free. So I don't know what you're doing in here. You're accusing me of doing webinars and you're in my webinar. You know, it's a shameless thing to do. You should actually be out of the webinar. Right? So should I throw you out of the webinar? I think that's a good thing to do. My temper for people like you are getting short. So I'll remove you from the room. Yep. Let's go. You come to a free webinar and you're accusing me of doing something wrong. I really don't get it. Right? Why? Here's the reason. I actually found out the reason why the trolls are trolling my chart. They're looking for recognition. Actually, one of them wrote me. I posted his message. He sent me a private message. He said, thank you. He's thanking me for trolling my chart so that his charts are getting some recognition. That's a pretty shameless thing to do, right? I don't know how you can even pretend to be a good trader or want to be a top trader that way. That's what's your character? Where did you come from? When he wrote that to me, I was like, this guy really has no character. Not only did he do it, he actually is boasting about it. That's someone with no character, no good, Let's go. One of them come to the webinar only to tell me that I'm making money out of my webinar. My webinars are free, even for my traders. They're absolutely free. I've been doing them day in, day out, 2 webinars a day, absolutely free. Right? So I don't know where he got that from, but crazy stuff. So we will look for the trade. If we get a correction here, we will get to it. It looks like we may get a correction because I think there's more downside in this, right? And then we're going to get some very nice trades to the downside. So I want to show you all the Pong pairs, why I think that could happen. So let's go to Pong Oz. We broke this structure. As all of you will remember, I was looking for a break of this structure to buy, right? I actually posted the chart, buy the breakout, because this was looking pretty corrective. We were looking at that structure as a corrective structure and saying, if it breaks that structure there to the upside, buy. That never happened. That break never happened. Actually, we got a trade at the lower point. So I'll show you guys where we got our entry. We got our entry in the break of this structure. And we were pretty much up in profit in this trade going up at the top there. So I told some of my traders if they want, they can move their stops to somewhere here because that would have got them very, very small loss or to break even. But I kept my stop at the bottom here because I was going for the long run. We were going for this to break out. We were hoping that that would be the one that goes and break out, or at least comes to the top here and then go down back. Never were we expecting this in this structure because it was looking very corrective. The structure was looking like it was going to do what we expected to do. Right? Everything. It didn't do that. We got in early and we took a loss on that. That's the second loss I took. So that's okay. Right? So now what we are doing here is we're looking for this structure because it has broken the weekly structure. And that's a big deal. We have broken this weekly structure. That means we may be starting a pretty huge move to the downside, or we are making a much deeper corrective structure to go back up, or we're actually starting a trend to the downside to break this low. Either way, we're looking for much more bigger moves now to the downside. That is why I think the Pong is going to go down more, right? So come back to the daily. 4 hour. The same remains for this as for the dollar, as for the Pong dollar. You're looking for a corrective structure. Do not jump in the candles. If you jump in these candles, you're going to lose your account eventually. So this thing will correct. It always corrects. They always make these corrective structures. They always make these corrective structures. So wait for these corrective structures. And if you get one of that here, we would look for a sell setup. And this would be an amazing trade because it's going to happen pretty fast. This one was going up very nice. If this wasn't in the uptrend, if this piece wasn't in the uptrend, it would have been a very good sell side. But because it was in the uptrend, we thought it was a slow start to come back to the top here. Well, it didn't happen. It's still part of the structure. So now we are totally breaking this structure. This is not what we thought it was. We thought this was an ending diagonal, and it is not an ending diagonal. The only thing that proves it is an ending diagonal is by breaking the structure. It didn't do that. It proves it's not an ending diagonal. So now we're in a downtrend, and we're looking for sell setups. So I will be looking at these for you guys in the 4 hour and the 1 hour and post the setups as I see them. Don't chase the candles. You may get lucky today. You may get 10, 12, 20. You may even get 100 pips. You're not going to get lucky every day. Wait for the structure to give you, right? Pound New Zealand. Pound New Zealand is coming down, but it's coming down within the structure. This has not changed the structure, right? On the daily, we're still within that daily structure. So this downside is pretty, you could have looked at this, but we totally stayed out of it because of this correction in here. We had no idea what that correction was going to do. If you pull a trend like that, you had something like this. So at that point, it wasn't clear to us what structure it was making. And because of that, I said, let's stay out of it. And we do that when we're not sure. Now we're pretty clear what it's doing. You can see the impulse, and now you know that this was a corrective structure. It's going down. It is very close to this low. So unless they break out, and there's a chance they're going to break out, or if we get any corrective structures within this, if we get any corrective structures within here, we can look for a sell to this low and anticipate the breakout. Because if the Pound Aus break out, it is likely this one would break out too. Pound CAD. This one is very interesting. This one we are looking for a flat formation in the weekly. See that? We're looking for this thing to make a 1, 2, 3 flat and go back up. I actually posted this chart. We sold it from the top here. We took out some pips, and we are looking for this to bounce here and go back up one more, like that. Seems like we may not get it. Remember, just coming out of the trend does not mean anything. These lines are not, they're not a stopper. They don't stop the chart from doing what they're doing. It's just an indicator whether the chart is continuing to do what it's doing or whether we are changing structure. So it looks like we may be changing structure. If all the pound trades are going to go in, this likely will continue to the downside for a much bigger corrective structure. Right? So what we'll be looking for, I would like to see a daily close under here. Remember, this is one daily candle. This could come back, and by this afternoon, you're actually back in here as a wick, and it's going up. So I would like to see it close outside. And I would like to see them start making a 240 consolidation like this. See that consolidation? 240 consolidation, one like this. And then I will be looking for my sell setup. I would not trade this on a lower time frame, breaking a structure like that. So if we get a corrective structure like this here, we'll all be selling it. So that means you don't have a good trade, a good sell trade in the Pound CAD, at least for the next week or two. Let it consolidate. Maybe smaller trades within the consolidation you can trade. They're dangerous, but you can trade them. But the bigger trade we can get within a week or two, let that go where it's going. Don't try to sell a 5-minute chart here. You're going to end up in danger, right? Pound Yen. Pound Yen is an interesting one. We are still within this consolidation coming down. The question is how deep they will come. Will they come back to retest, I don't know, 6, 18, 50%? Or even come back all the way back to the low before they go up, because it looks like they're trying to make an up move. And we're pulling back against that up move. If pound keeps going down, this thing will come down. Every now and then, yen will pull it to the upside, but it's going to come down. So on a daily, we do have some divergence here. On a 4-hour, we have the same divergence there. And on a 1-hour, this structure is looking very, it's looking more like that. So what we can do is come here, wait for corrective structures, back to the trend here. This was one. And then we'd look for sell opportunities. For us to get into buy now, we have to let this break out of this structure, correct to the top here, and then we'd look for that move up. Right? This would become a 1, 2, 3 wave pattern. Some kind of an expanding flat if that is the case, because we are still in a downtrend. Right? We're literally in a downtrend. So this down move is not surprising, except we didn't expect it to happen this way, right? We thought I was looking more for a 1, 2, 3 first. 1, 2, 3 wave, and then go down back. Something more like this even would have been a good idea. So I'm looking for more like that structure and then go down. That didn't happen, so it could still happen, even though they break the bottom. So we'll keep an eye out for this, and I'll be posting as I see them on the 1-hour and the 4-hour. I'll be posting these charts out. Right now, I don't see anything in them. But I'm showing you all of them because they have huge potentials to go. Which means if they start to sell, you don't even have to wait on me. Most of you can do that yourself. You look at the corrective structure, you look at the possibility, use your strategy that you have to sell it. Which means you must have your own strategy to trade that. Right? If you do, that's great. Let's go back to the top now. We finished the pound. Let's look at Aussie, the one that is creating a world of controversy with everybody. This is the Aussie Weekly, right? This is the Aussie Weekly chart. We did make a lower low as we anticipated. What I didn't think was going to happen is I wasn't looking for this to be all the corrective structure. I thought that we'll probably have more correction to the downside, and I still possibly think that that is going to happen. And the reason I think so is because we haven't broke out of the daily trend line. So if that is the weekly trend line, this is the daily trend line. That is the daily trend line. So let me show you what becomes a buy for me. A buy for me becomes if they break out of that daily trend line, pull back here and make a corrective structure, and then I'll be a buyer. Otherwise, to that, I'm not buying. It's simple, right? I don't have a buy setup. I trade with the trend. And if I don't see a structurally, not by the trend, I don't see any reason to be buying there, then I'm not buying, right? We're looking for a sell. Now, they didn't go. This may be the bottom. And if that is the bottom, then we would look at this as the first corrective impulse to the upside. Now, we don't know that that is it. We're still within this move going down. So this could be an A. That could be a B. We could still get a C here. Right? This is simple. You could still get a C here. You will not get the C when you break that top and you start to consolidate here to go up. Then we will say we're buyers. So people, please stop trolling. I mean, honestly, you're grown-up people, like grown-ass men. So what's the big deal with you? Get a life. Go make a son like me, man. Enjoy life. Stop trolling people's chart. It's amazing. The guy trolled. He changed his names and he changed his name. They block him. He changed his names and he come back again trolling. What type of person? You don't have a life? Like, it's disturbing. It's really disturbing. You're 4 a.m. in the morning looking at a chart and somebody's trolling it for no reason. Darn, man, these people are crazy. So here's what we're looking for. It's going up. Let it go. Could be, I don't know, but it's still that's not enough reason to behave crazy. It's not. It's just not enough reason. You're all human beings. You're all nice people, and we have an amazing place. Look how amazing Trading View is. We can come and share charts with each other. Share if you want. Here's the thing: you want to prove your point of view, or do a webinar like me and share it. I'll probably even come to your webinar. I used to go to the webinars that Exante used to do. You guys remember Exante used to do a set of series of. I used to go to them. So do a free webinar, show all of us your view and your strategy, what you're doing, and that's okay. I'll come. I'll take a look. Right? Do that. Do like I'm doing. I'm calling you guys. I say, hey guys, look, I'm showing you what I'm doing. Right? This is what I do. It's simple. So I would wait for this to break out. I'll wait for a pullback like this, and then I'll be looking for this trend to go up. This would be my buy setup. And I would be buying exactly at this spot where it is right now. But this time I'll be buying knowing that it's likely to go up, right? If it is not going to go up, well, then I'm not. You jump into this candle. Who says this can? Let me show you something. Who said this cannot be an A here, a B here, and a C there and come down back? Can any one of you give me guarantee that that's not making an ABC structure? No. If you know anything about Elliott wave, that is likely to be an ABC structure. You could have an A wave here, a 1, 2, 3 up for an A, a 1, 2, 3 up for a B. You're making a very sharp C wave here, and then you come right down back. That's it. That's a simple structure is. So unless I get a corrective structure, I'm not a buyer. I'll wait to see what it's doing. I'm not in the trade. I'll wait. I got 2 break-even trades here, and I'm willing to wait for the next one. Right? If it's going to be a buy for me, and if it's going to be a buy for all of you, let it go up some more. Let it break through here. Let it consolidate above the trend line, which is what it will do if it breaks. And then we will all be buyers like this going up. And then we'll be trading our way all the way to the weekly trend line. Because if they break this trend line, the next trend line we are anticipating them to come to is this trend line. And that move will be an equivalent of this move here. Let me just show you what move we're looking. We're looking at that move there. So if they're going to go up, we're going to look at this move here. See that? Your impulse down, your correction there. Your impulse down, the correction there. So Isn't there a lot of pips to get if it goes up there? Of course, there's a lot of pips. So that is what we'll be looking for. There's a lot of pips to get. So in that case, no need to rush for the 5, 10 pips that you're missing. You think you're missing in here if you don't jump in the buy. Because you jump in the buy right here, and then you'll be crying because you'll watch it fall if it falls. And very likely, most often they fall. When you jump in the trade, ever happened to you before? You jump in the trade and then it starts going the opposite direction. That's because you're jumping in the wrong spot. You're emotionally attached to this candle going up. And your thoughts are, oh my God, it's going up without me. I'm going to lose. If I don't jump in, I'm going to make it. And that guy says it's going to go this high, so I have to jump in. Right? Even if I tell you something, you don't have to do it. You have to be able to read it, analyze it, and figure out that that is what it's going to do based on your strategy. And if it does that based on your strategy, you have a trade. So I'm telling you now, what are the two options I'm looking for? A buy, it has to go up, consolidate, come back all the way here before I'm interested in the buy. A sell, it has to reverse, consolidate under here, and now I'm looking for a sell. Those are the two options. Do I have any one of them now? No. And I'll unlikely get any one of them for the next 2-3 days. But when I do get one of that, I have a very high probability trade. I have a trade that has a very, very, very high probability of going in the direction I want it to go. And the direction will only be one single direction. That is what I said. I keep saying this in all my webinars, and people keep saying, "How can you be so sure it's going to go there?" No, I am not sure it is going to go there. Let me repeat it for those who were not listening carefully. I would look for a pattern like this, and this pattern is telling me that there's only one direction I'm looking for, not two directions, a single direction. And if it does that, I will be in the buy from here for this trade. That's what I'm saying. I'm looking for a pattern that has a high probability of breaking out only in one direction. And that makes my trade, that makes my strategy, that gives me confidence in my strategy, very high probability strategy. My win-loss ratio is going to be high. I wait for them to happen. I don't chase the candles. If it is going to be a sell one like it was a break of this, that was a sell. It was a break of this, that was a sell. Those were sells that has, lots of pips on them that we took for break even. And the reason I will take it for break even is because it didn't go to my target. And I would repeat that if I get this trade again on the breakout here to sell and it didn't go to my target, I will take the break even again and again and again. Right? The same thing here. If I get this trade, if I get this setup, if it comes here and it consolidates, and I get a buy setup here and my target is at the top there and it doesn't go to my target, it is likely going to be a break-even trade, even though you have this amount of pips in it. As one guy said, that's a losing trade, 83 pips. A dream for most scalpers to have 83 pips and give it up back for break-even. Right? So it's simple. We work with our strategy. I want to show you very fast. If you want to be a winner, you got to do this. I posted this in the Trading View room for my traders who are in the Trading View room. You can see this. A great strategy with poor implementation will make you a failure. This is not mine. I just copied it from somewhere. I saw it and I love it because I think it makes a lot of sense for us as traders. Even if you have an average strategy, but you implement it every time, you're going to see success. And that's what I'm doing. I'm implementing my strategy every single time, regardless. My strategy says sell and go to that target. When it moves so much pip and it starts to correct, you can move it to break even. And that's what I do. That is how I get thousands of pips in a single trade. People ask, how you get that? Well, because I gave up 80 pips for the first move. That didn't go. If the first move goes and I get that 80 or I get that 100 pips and then I move it to break even, it didn't take me out to break, and it moves again, the next one is 150 pips. And the next one is 300, and then the next one is 400, and you keep moving it and it goes that way. That is how you keep trades to get that amount. But you have to follow the strategy. Right? You don't just jump all over the place and because you're 20 pips or 80 pips or 60 pips, hey, I got a lot of pips, let me take it. That's not a strategy. And people ask me, say, well, I don't know what you're trading, but you don't have a strategy. Right? A lot of traders will write me and say, well, I'm in this trade. Where should I take profit? How do I know that? I mean, honestly, how do I know where do you take profit? What did your strategy tell you to do? Your strategy is to tell you where is your take profit and where is your stop. Don't ask me for that. I have no clue. Absolutely no clue I have what you're doing. So if you write me and you said I'm 50 pips up in this, should I take profit? I don't know. Because I don't know what strategy you're using to trade. If my strategy was a 5-minute or a 15-minute or a 1-hour strategy that says take profit within 50 pips, I will take it. If my strategy says you're going for the longer run, you need to leave your stop here, I would leave my stop there like I did in the Pong Oz. Right? That is what you do. You follow your strategy. And if you don't have one, stop trading. Right? If you don't have a strategy, do not trade. It means you don't know what you're doing. You're putting money, you're gambling. Now, people say, how do I create a strategy? That's the point. When you learn to trade, you can create a strategy. If you can't create a strategy, it means you don't know to trade. You don't have the knowledge to trade. So when you get the knowledge, you will no longer ask that question. The question as to how do I create a strategy will automatically be answered. So you're not going to ask anybody. You're not going to stop people and say, well, how do I create a strategy? Well, you get the knowledge to create it. Strategies are based on the knowledge you're using to trade. So, very simple. Everybody has his own strategy. My strategy is telling me, wait. That's it. New Zealand. New Zealand, we were looking for a buy, and some of my traders are in this buy, and it's based on our strategy. We are buying to this stop. See that? And then it is either going to come back here or it's going to break out. We will watch how it's going. Very likely, I think it's going to break and go to this stop. So for those of you who are not in the trade, if it breaks this and it consolidates here, you have a trade to the upside. Look for this trade. We're in a big daily wedge. We're in a big daily pattern. I think I actually posted this one, daily corrective structure. So this one is no surprise to anybody. Remember, I said this thing is likely going to come to the top there, and at that point, it will tell us if this correction is an A, B, C. This one is going to break out. They could likely make an A, B, C, D, E as a wedge and then break out to the top. See that? So by all means, New Zealand is showing us that this structure has more to the upside. 1 hour. We have more to the upside on the bigger structure, and we have more to the upside on the smaller structure. So some of my traders are already in this trade to this top, and if it breaks, they will be in that. Those who are not in that, when it breaks, we will get in. If it starts to come back, they're going to move their stop and be taken out. Right? It's that simple. That's how you trade. So that's the trade for New Zealand is very interesting. Swiss going up, but I think Swiss is in a corrective structure. Let me show you this daily one. Swiss is in this big, this big structure going up. Still to figure out. I think it's a C wave. We got a very sharp A wave, a B wave, and we're making a C wave here, right? So the question with this C wave is it, do we have one more wave to the upside? If we get one more wave to the upside, that will have to be followed here by a corrective structure first, and then the upside. So while we're going up in the 4 hour, we're getting short-term trades. There's a short-term trade here, and by that I mean very short-term. Put it in the 1 hour. You can see divergence here already. If you take a trade here based on your strategy, not my strategy, I'm not saying take a trade here. You can watch it to come to about this level. You may see divergence in here, and you may want to get out because there's going to be a correction before it goes back up. So what we are looking for is a better correction. This is a corrective structure, but I don't trade these corrective structures, right? This is more of a flat with the expansion. No, this doesn't have an expansion. Just a regular flat, but I don't trade these that not those setup. You have to enter here, and your stop has to be here. Not a good trade, right? So we leave that. Yen. Pretty much, I think yen is going to make a move to the upside. I actually posted this. I said, look for this deep correction here, then the upside. That was in the daily. Look for a correction here, and then the upside. Seems we're getting the correction in here now, right? Not at the top there, but I can bring this down. We're getting the correction in here. Let me take this out. We're getting the correction in here And then we're going to look for this move to go up. I don't think it's going to go that far. I think we'll get the number of corrections here again. Probably one more corrective structure in here. And then we're going to get the upside, right? So it looks like we're going to get a number of corrections before we go to the upside. So let's look at the correction, 4 hour. We got a sharp move up. By the way, all of you see the structure, right? This is what I think this structure would look like. Now, I didn't know that it's going to look like that, but that's the forecast. If this structure is to do what I think it's doing. Now, if they break from here to go to the upside, that would be great. That would be a nice trade. Right now, we're looking for this to come back to the top here. We're looking for that move to go up. So let's go to 4 hour. We've got a sharp impulse. We're getting a correction in here right now. Put it in a 1 hour. Take this out. And this is our corrective structure. So what we don't know is if this corrective structure is over. Your buy will come in the breakout. If they come back down here, if they do this and come back down here one more, you can actually have a small sell here, and then you'll be looking for the breakout. This allows for a 5-wave structure to the downside and then up. Right? So one more possible downside within this structure is very possible, and then you can. But for me, I'm more keen in the breakout if it happens. Like I said, if it happens, I'm keen on that breakout, and you can see why I'm keen on it. The potential of this trade to the upside is huge. See how fast this one came down? Don't be surprised if this one goes up that fast. This thing has a huge potential to the upside. And that is why I'm interested in the upside, not the downside. The downside is a very short trade. If I'm in front of the chart when it's happening and I like it, I would probably take the trade. Tom, there isn't a fight going on, and I have no problem with his views. Here's what I'm gonna tell everybody in TradingView. If you're gonna go into conversation, please follow the conversation. I am not against his views. Absolutely have nothing to do with his views. It is not about the view he posted in my chart that I'm against. Right? Go read what he posted after the view and the reason those comments were deleted. That is what you have to do. Because when he posts his view, he also posts an ad in his view. And all I said to him is, can you please post your view without the ad? As a matter of fact, I think that you should not do that on TradingView itself, not only in anybody's chart. So the question wasn't about his view. It was about his conduct. And then he developed an attitude. And that became a problem. Right? I have no problem with anybody's view. I welcome every view. How many of you have posted a contradicting view in my chart and I said nothing? All I say to you, thank you for sharing. You're welcome. Please do it in a nice way. A lot of people post views that disagree with me, and sometimes they're correct. I have no problem with that. I have a problem with the attitude you come with. And then you have some really crazy people come on. They don't follow anything and they jump in the conversation. That is really what I have a problem with. Ignorance. I have a sharp temper for ignorance. I think people are willfully ignorant. We can educate ourselves. We can learn. So if I'm going to jump into somebody's conversation, I will go back in time and read about it, figure out what's going on before I step in to say something. I will enlighten myself with the knowledge before I jump in. Jumping in out of ignorance is not good. Right? That is called willful ignorance. Right? So let's see if we get this move to the upside. There is a chance that it's going to come down. And if it comes down, you will have a short trade. A very short trade to the downside here. But the bigger trade you want is to the upside. So if we get a buy in this, and remember, I'm looking for trades that are possible to go within the week, not within the next couple hours. And this would be good, right? No, I'm not, Stephanie. I'm not saying it's short. Not telling you to short it. I'm just sharing my views of what I think the pattern could do. Based on this pattern, you could have something like this. And then you could get this. I'm saying that if they break this structure here to the upside, you can take the trade to the upside. You will have to have a strategy to trade that. right? It has nothing to do with the lines. It has to do with the structure. I'm showing you what the structure could look like. This structure could look like this, and then it will go up. Or it could look like this. Let me change the color for you. It could look like this, 1, 2, 3, and then it could go up, right? I'm just showing you what the structure would look like. Okay, no problem. You're welcome. US CAD. Here is a very interesting trade if it doesn't break this pattern. So let's look at this. We're in this very, very big structure here, right? And we were anticipating one more move from the bottom here to the top there. If this move happened, this would be an amazing trade. So let me show you what the trade is, right? Let's go to 4-hour. We're getting divergence in the chart. Very clearly, everybody can see that. We're getting divergence in the chart. We're getting divergence. And I'm looking at this structure here. It's coming down. There is a short trade to the downside, and this is the weekly daily trend line. Now, just like the Pong Oz, they could break through. And if they break through that trend line, if they break through the trend line, we would look for corrective structures and we will be selling it down. But there's a very high probability, based on what I see in the structure, there's a high probability that they're going to make a low here and then they're going to bounce to the upside. And if they come back to the upside and they correct above this trend line, we would be looking for that trade all the way to the top. So let me just show you what is the trade I'm looking for. A break of this structure here, come up, consolidate, and I will keep this trade all the way to this top. Now it will not go in a single straight line. If I'm lucky, it will go like this. If I'm unlucky, it's going to probably do this. Let me use a different color. If I'm unlucky, it's probably going to do this. But I'll be able to manage my trade all the way to the top. And that is what we are looking for, right? All the way to this 270, which is 152, 1.52. Now, will that happen? I don't know. But if it happens, because this structure allows for that to happen, this structure we're looking at allows for one more wave to the upside. To complete this structure, there is a chance it could make one more wave to the upside. And if it does that, we will be in the trade. If it doesn't do that, it's going to break out of this structure and we will start to rechange that view and we would be looking for structures to the downside. Right? That's it. See pattern from 1.6 to 1.26. That's a long, if you're talking about this one here, 1.26, that is from where? This one here going up? I don't know. I'm looking at the whole structure. And the whole structure allows for one more wave up, all the way to the top here. So if that is to happen, we will take the trade and we will not leave it. That's it. That's how simple it is. Now, we're waiting to see if it's going to happen. Either they're going to break out or they're going to go. By the way, we were selling this coming down, right? So that you see. EURUSD. We're going to do a couple more and then I'll take questions. EURUSD breaking. We were anticipating that move, right? We're in this bigger weekly structure, right? Very big weekly structure. We have some divergence there. They're coming down. So what we're going to look for is sell opportunities back to this trend line. And then probably one more up, right? You got a 1, 2, 3 here. You're getting a 1, 2, 3 maybe here, and then we're going to go back. So we will, unless you break this trend, you know, it's long-term upside, short-term downside. So 4-hour, any correction you get, sell. It's simple. If you get a 4-hour correction here, and I think we could get one tomorrow or the day after, we could get a 4-hour correction here, and then we'll be selling this down. Let's see, right? Remember the buy on this one to the upside? A lot of traders were making noise that this is not going to go, and I said it's a buy setup. We had a lot of trolls on this chart saying nope, it's breaking the trend line. And you would have got, a lot of you would remember. Some trolls come on, it's breaking the trend line. What are you looking for a buy for? Well, because the structure told me it's going to go up. The structure said that it's going to go up. That is why we're looking for a buy. Right? It has nothing to do with the trend line. And the same here. If the structure says it's going to go down, we're looking for a sell setup. Euro and New Zealand stayed out of this. That is not clear. They're breaking this structure, and it's in a big daily sideways. So we stay out of that. We have to wait until that structure is confirmed what it's doing, and then we're going to get back in it. EuroCat, stay out of this. This is going to come down some more here. We were anticipating. By the way, I think I could show you this. We're looking for this to come here, and from this point, probably one more up. Right? You got an up, you got a down, you got an up, you're getting a down, and you're going. I actually posted this chart, but this pattern didn't turn out the way I wanted. I thought we were going to make something like that. They actually made a very sharp pullback, and then go. Right? I thought they were going to make a flag, right? The flag before they go. Instead, they made a very, very sharp move up. That sharp move up there, and now they're coming down. So it's still a sell, except that the pattern is a little different from what I thought it was going to be. So do we have sell setups? Let's go look at it in a 4-hour and the 1-hour. Yep, we're getting sell setup. So you can put this here now, and any pullback you can sell. Basically, you're getting sell setup. So if they come here and they pull back, you sell. They pull back, you sell, all the way to the bottom. Right? So there's more sell setups coming in that. Don't jump in the candle, please. Wait for the pullback. It always pulls back, right? See, they pull back there, they pull back here, they will pull back. Right? And if they pull back, we'll get the trade. We'll go back to AU just now. Euro yen, there is a move. Let me just show you this pattern we're looking at. Very big structure coming down. So when they come to the bottom here, they're going to talk to us. Either they do what the Pong Oz do, that is break out of this structure, or they actually come back to the top. For me, I would really like this one to the upside, because that would really give us an amazing trade to the upside. To the downside is limited. We've already been coming down quite a lot. So to the downside, the trade we're looking for, is only this trade here now. And at this point, we will wait to see. Right? It's either going to go back up or it's going to go down. Right? Yes. So let's see. No rush. Don't chase candles. If it's going, it's going. No need to chase the candles. Right? The trade is doing what it will do. We'll get there and we'll see it. You don't have a setup if it's going at. You want to jump in the candle? Go ahead and do that. You'll learn a lesson. Stay out of this. Nothing there we can do. Pong Oz, let's see what this is doing. We looked at all the Pong trades already. It's coming down pretty sharp. Wait for the pullback. Do not jump in the trade. I know you're tempted to say, well, I'll jump in this and I'll catch 50 pips. Every now and then you'll get lucky. You will catch 50 pips. And then you're going to see how fast your account is going to start to go away. Right? It's going to disappear because you're doing the wrong thing. We're looking for bigger consolidation in here, and then they'll talk to us. By the way, if they consolidate here, you can sell, right? If they consolidate here, we can sell, because this consolidation may be a very big one. So on a shorter time frame, in a shorter time frame, if we get a pullback only as a consolidation here, you can look for a sell, a short sell. You go in, you take your profit, you come out back, right? I think all senior traders know this. That's newbies like to jump in candles, right? So we're getting some consolidation here also on this gold, and then after the consolidation, probably get some more consolidation, and then you'll get a trade to the upside. So wait. If you're a gold trader, you have to wait for that consolidation. It's just going to take more time, right? By the way, you asked the question just in time. I'm showing you gold, right? So like I said, it's going to consolidate, and when it consolidates, then you'll get it, right? So wait for the consolidation, and then you'll get the trade. So that is for those trades that I'm looking at. I don't think we can do everything today, but I'll be posting more trades for you guys. Any questions? Now come with your questions. Let me see. You want us to, let's go look at the Aussie while the questions are coming. You guys could post your questions now. It's not breaking anything as yet. It's breaking the trend, yeah, but it still has to consolidate. Remember, the first one is breaking, the second one is consolidating. So you have to wait for the consolidation, which is until tomorrow you don't have a trade. If it goes, it goes. If it goes higher, it goes higher. Pong Oz is the same thing. You have to wait for it to pull back. The Swiss 25th of January, and that's a long way back. I don't even know who you're talking about. Do I have any setup for today? Nothing right now. We're waiting for some things to at least pull back or consolidate before you can get in any trade. Because if you jump in the candles, you'll be just chasing them, and I don't like to do that. Any comments on the pound pairs? We did all the pound pairs. All the pound pairs we looked at, Drew. That's the first thing we did when we start. Natural gas, if we have time. No, we can do. If we start doing one natural gas, you see somebody's asking for special charts and somebody want oil, and then we'll have the whole day doing only charts. Yep. If you talk about lower degree, then you're looking at 4 hour, probably 1 hour. Yep, possible. I have no idea about gaps. I have not studied them. I can't comment on gaps. I follow mostly the structure. I don't follow the gaps because I have no idea. They get filled very often. Everybody says that, but I don't have anything to prove that. And I can't disprove it either because I don't have any. I have never studied that. Oil doesn't make big move every day. Oil is actually, I've been warning my traders not to sell oil. And the reason is because we are this low. You see this low here? That's a weekly low. Once we broke that low, anything selling was dangerous. I told my traders, once you break that low, stop selling oil. Look for buy opportunities. And I think they're getting the buy opportunities now. You can actually see that in the daily. Right? We are coming up. So yes, you're getting buy opportunities. Your buy opportunity would be here back to this trend line. And if they break this, you probably will be doing a trend to the upside in oil. You would literally see oil go up. Let it prove the break of this trend line to continue that big move up, but it's going to go up. Right? So we're looking for the upside. By the way, my traders should probably be in the trade. If they're not, you'll have to wait. It will pull back, it will go, it will pull back, it will go again. Right? What else? You will watch a recording, yes. What about Pangos? What about it? Nothing. We have to wait for it to pull back. Like I said, I just did Pangos. We just looked at Pangos, right? It broke the structure. It broke the weekly structure. We're breaking that weekly structure, so we're looking for more downside. So what we're going to do now is wait for this 4 hour. We are breaking in the daily here. I would like to see the daily close, but if we don't get a daily close, I'm looking for a 4 hour pullback. So this becomes your downtrend, and I'm waiting for this to stop. It has to stop, and it will pull back, and then I'll be looking for a sell opportunity. Let me see what else. I try to hold them as often as possible. I move my stops, and I move first to break even, and then I follow the trade as it's going by I have a strategy how to follow it, and then that's it. I don't use horizontal supports. They're nonsense. They don't work. You can, if it works for you, that's okay. I think it's nonsense, and I've shown that many times in my chart. People keep asking me the same question. I could show you that again in 1 second if you want by just pulling some and show you why they don't work. It's pretty easy to show you why horizontal lines don't work. People who use them have no clue what they're doing. I honestly believe they have no clue what they're doing. These are random lines. I don't have to look for where they are, but you can go back and see how perfect they work. See how perfect they work there? See how perfect this one work here? You can go way back. Forget about that little piece of the chart. Let's go way back in the chart. You'll see how perfect they work. Look at the support there, right? Look at the resistance here. Look at the support here. Look at the resistance here, right? It's all nonsense. Let me even don't go there. It's just pure nonsense. Here is the thing. If this thing is going up and you put horizontal lines across it, they will do two things. They will stop, they will break, they will bounce. And that's the three things. Those are the three things they can do. Regardless of what. They would either stop at it, they will break it, or they will bounce off of it to the opposite direction, right? That's all. And that is not a strategy to trade. That's nonsense. Right? You could, something is going up. If something is going up like this, you draw straight lines, horizontal lines, and one out of the three will happen. You can't use it. It's useless. Well, but if you feel comfortable with it and you think it's worth it and you want to prove that, to point to somebody, go ahead and use it. Don't listen to me. Go ahead and use it. You will learn your lesson. We all learn our lessons, right? Do we define a certain extent of development and the corrective structure before you enter following? Yes. We look for a complete structure and then we have a strategy how to enter that when it breaks, right? We have a strategy how to enter that when it breaks. You should have one. I don't know anything about hidden divergence, and I can't tell you how we use the MACD. That's part of the course we do. I don't have any idea what hidden divergence is. I heard of it a lot of time, but I have no idea what that is. That's the next question of hidden divergence. To find wave 2 and 4, I have no idea how you do that. Money management, you personally use. Somebody's asking about money management. He said I personally use zero point 0.1 lot for 10K adjusting. That's not how money management is calculated. I did it. Anybody saw the webinar I did? Anybody in here saw the webinar I did with money management? Just give me a yes. I did a webinar on how to calculate your money management. Anybody saw that? Give me a yes. Okay, great. Some people saw it. If you haven't seen, well, what I could do is I could redo it once more, and I'll post that on YouTube. I didn't have a YouTube, link when I was doing that one, but I'll do it because that tells you how to calculate. It's not about 1 lot, 2 lot, 10 lot, 5 lot. That's nonsense. You will eventually lose your account and cry because you don't know. It's about your limitations of risk, how much you're willing to lose. That is what money management is about. And then you calculate it based on your strategy, whether it's you can think. I'll do a webinar on that next time. I start from the monthly and work my way down, not from the weekly. I start all from the highest chart I can find. Do I go to the smaller time frame? No, not necessarily. How I start a view chart and what is the target? When I open the chart, I'm looking for patterns. I'm looking for patterns that has a probability of going only in one direction. What are the questions? Please do you do one more time? What to do one more time? Webinar? What is this argument about divergence? Let's knock that off. I don't know who's the argument. Will Aussie cat break a big consolidation soon? Depends what time frame you're looking at. Probably. Aussie New Zealand, it's in consolidation. It's in a wedge looking pattern. More like what the New Zealand is in. You can check it out. Orders, I don't set them very often, but I have traders who do that very often. They like to set their orders. Actually, we have a trader who did a webinar on how to set orders for our traders. Right? If a wave came to WXYX, I'm not sure. We can't go into Elliott wave. That's a whole long story. Do you open your trades in lower time frame? Yes, I do. I fine tune the entry point in a lower time frame, even if I look at the 214 one. So okay, guys, I think we've had a lot of that. Let me thank all of you for coming. Right? Hope you guys have a wonderful time. Keep the Trading View room clean, and please subscribe to Trading View if you're not a subscriber as yet. Right? Please support the admin. They're working very hard. They're giving us a lot of tools, and all of that costs money. So let's support them. I should have actually given you my link, my referral link, and you will get 30% reduction. But hey, it's cheap. Come on, give them the 30%. Just take it. It's only 40 something dollars or something like that for a year. I mean, it's pretty cheap, right? So you guys should take it. I don't know the exact price, but it's very, very cheap. But you guys should, if you can afford it, please do it, man. Support them, right? That is the Trading View chart. You can subscribe for the Pro. Right? I'm hoping that all of you will go and subscribe who don't have it. Right? Thank you for coming. Take care. Have a wonderful day. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.